You know, we have this peculiar idea that relationships follow a simple script, a little fairy tale where everything is neat and understandable. But I don't mean the usual cliches about love or romance. What I mean is, when you really begin to see the deeper, sometimes unsettling layers beneath the dance between men and women. And here's what nobody tells you. Do you ever wonder why most advice feels like a map drawn by someone who's never been lost? Nobody tells you this, but much of what we're taught about women and relationships is a carefully woven fantasy, polished and packaged to soothe insecurities. Yet behind that glossy surface, there lurks a world of paradoxes and puzzles that leave many men exhausted and confused. It's like being handed a compass that points in circles. Do you ever feel like you're speaking a different language when it comes to understanding women, or that the more you try to figure them out, the further away clarity slips? And perhaps, do you sometimes catch yourself wondering, what if everything I believed was wrong? Here's where the danger begins. When you let confusion breed frustration, you risk turning curiosity into cynicism. But I want to reveal something else, and this something is not about blame, but about truth. Not to make you cynical, but to make you prepared. Because the struggle you experience is not weakness, it's a sign you're awakening. Awakening to complexity, to mystery, to a broader reality. Let me share 6 things about modern female psychology and relationship dynamics that most men never hear, because these truths are not politically correct nor easy to swallow, but understanding them will change your perspective profoundly. 1. The first thing you must understand is women are social chameleons. Women often navigate the world by adapting their appearance, behavior, and emotions to fit social expectations. This adaptability is not mere duplicity, but an evolutionary dance. Think of it as actors on a stage, constantly shifting roles to maintain harmony and safety within the group. The woman you meet may present her authentic self only in rare, safe moments. For much of her life, she is reading the room, mirroring hopes, fears, and desires to keep peace. I once knew a man who was baffled that the woman he loved changed so much around different people. What he didn't realize was she was responding to the unspoken demands of her environments. And here's the profound part. This social fluidity is a form of power, a way to negotiate survival and acceptance in a society that often judges women more harshly. So when you think you're comforting someone's true self, you might actually be comforting a mask she's been forced to wear. And that's the secret. Understanding this can teach you patience and compassion, real compassion that sees beyond the surface. The second, even more important fact, emotional intensity is a survival skill. Women's emotional depth is often misunderstood as unpredictability or oversensitivity. But watch what happens in nature. Intense emotions are signals, survival wiring honed over millennia. They serve communication and protection. Imagine emotions as waves in a storm. They can either erode the coastline or bring vital nutrients to the soil. The trick is learning to ride these waves instead of being swept away. Consider this. Do you ever feel exhausted by emotional highs and lows, like stepping into a forest of feelings with no clear path? This is where many men stumble, interpreting emotional expression as drama rather than a vital language. The deeper truth is, emotionality is intelligence, just expressed through a different medium. It's a wild garden that requires respect and boundaries, not control or dismissal. The third thing, which is perhaps the most insidious, is desire is fluid, not fixed. Most relationship advice speaks as if female desire were a fixed point, a destination on a map. Yet desire is more like the tide, ebbing and flowing in response to context, safety, and connection. Think of desire as water moving through different vessels, sometimes calm, sometimes roaring. And here's where it gets dangerous. Expecting desire to be constant can lead to disappointment and misunderstanding. I knew a man who believed if he gave everything up front, desire would stay lit forever. But what he missed was that desire sprouts from a complex soil: security, respect, mystery, and genuine self-expression. Here's the astonishing truth. The more you try to control desire, the more it slips away. The paradox is striking. The more you let go, the more you receive. And the fourth, the most critical of all, independence is non-negotiable. In modern dynamics, a woman's independence is her fortress, and rightly so. It's not just economic or social freedom. It is a fundamental psychological boundary that signals self-respect and survival. Trying to undermine or bypass this boundary isn't just disrespectful, it's a fundamental threat. Yet many men interpret this boundary as rejection or disinterest. Imagine a garden. Independence is the fence that keeps out harm and preserves the soil for growth. Pollinators must respect that fence, not tear it down. Observe, even Jesus walked away from communities when boundaries demanded it, and this is true here. Boundaries invite real connection, not less of it. The fifth fact, communication is less about words, more about energy. We often believe happiness or understanding comes from talking things out, but watch what happens in nature. Communication often transcends words and happens on an energetic level. Think of it like trying to pour the ocean into a teacup. Words are mere droplets. The real communication is the unspoken feelings, the body language, the timing, the silence. Consider this. Do you ever feel that your words go unheard despite earnest effort? That's because you may be ignoring the energy behind the words. This invisible language is primal. The ancient wisdom teaches that real listening means sensing the silent currents beneath the speech. And that, my friend, changes everything. Finally, the sixth, the most surprising, vulnerability is the ultimate strength. Despite all this complexity, roles, emotional tides, fluid desire, there is one unchanging beacon: real vulnerability. But vulnerability isn't weakness. It's the courage to be seen without the usual masks, to risk exposure without guaranteed shelter. Think of it as swimming against the current, but discovering you have deep strength you never knew. The paradox emerges again. To be truly strong, you must first be willing to show your weakness. Many men fear this in women or themselves because it feels dangerous. Yet every breakthrough relationship I've witnessed came when someone dared to lower shields and meet another's humanity. And this is the profound conclusion. Vulnerability dissolves isolation and invites real connection. So here we are, back to where we started. You've probably felt lost in the labyrinth of these 6 truths, and that's perfectly okay. All these facts connect because they remind us that human relations are not formulas, but living mysteries. The woman you meet is not a puzzle to solve, but a flux of roles, emotions, desires, and strength wrapped in profound vulnerability. The beautiful secret is this: you are not broken, you are not failing, You are awakening to a complexity far richer and deeper than the simple stories we tell ourselves. You're being invited into a dance where control loosens, where patience grows, and where true respect flourishes. So the next time you find yourself puzzled or frustrated, remember what we've explored today: the chameleon, the storm, the tide, the fortress, the invisible currents, and the brave swimmer in vulnerability. You are the universe experiencing itself through intricate connection. This is the dance we're all part of, ever evolving, never fully mastered. And so the journey continues.